Welcome to EO Talks, Eastern Oregon's very own talk show, only here on EOAlive.
Kerry McQuisten, and I am running for governor. Very happy to be here today. Thank you. So as mayor of Baker City, I'm part of basically, the way I heard it described the best, I think, was from a lawyer with the League of Oregon Cities. And he said that when you're on city council or serving as mayor, you end up being basically the legislative and a little bit of the judicial arm of city government. So that's what I do. As mayor, I oversee the meetings. We handle things like public safety with police and fire, infrastructure, water, wastewater, all of those issues. I mean, right now, for example, budgeting, that's another big one, but we're also starting to dive into the homelessness issue here that's spread into Baker City. So we tackle quite a bit here in that capacity.
It's a lot of responsibility. Can you tell me more about your community of Baker City?
Yeah, so Baker City is a community of about 10,000 people. I think for the first time in quite a while, we've hit over 10,000. So we're just on that line between small city and big city, or medium-sized city, I guess, technically with Oregon. We're a valley, so mountains and rivers on all sides, just kind of a beautiful community, very salt of the earth people here. So extensive mining and agriculture background in our area. The biggest issue I hear everywhere is just that in general, something has to change. We can't continue on the downward spiral that we're having. And they point to homelessness. They point to public safety. They point to riots in Portland and criminal activity that have gone completely unchecked. They talk about catastrophic wildfires that don't need to be happening. There are all these issues that are just common to almost every area of the state. And of course, there are separate issues to different corners of the state, but there are those core issues down the middle that are affecting just about every county at this point. So I'm hearing it everywhere. I'm going to say Dennis Richardson. And I think there are two stories that I have about Dennis that really need to be shared. They show what I mostly appreciated about him. Through his two campaigns, I got to know Dennis pretty well. I was able to pick him up from the airport and take him shopping along with his wife, Kathy, a few times here. And during the first occasion, I actually took him cowboy hat shopping at Oregon Trail Livestock here. And they have a really good selection of cowboy hats. And so he tried some on for a while. We had, it was a lot of fun. And then at the end, I noticed that he wasn't wearing his hat. He kind of held on to it. And I asked him why. Why don't you just put it on? And he says, I don't want to be all hat and no cowboy. See, no cattle. The thing about Dennis was that he didn't want to be inauthentic. It was always incredibly important to him to just be exactly who he was. He didn't want to appear that he was trying to be something else. And I really admired that. The second story about Dennis, he had a way with kids. I mean, he was just a natural. And so he'd pick my youngest up and toss her on his shoulders. And we went shopping at one point, and he bought her this little monkey bank. And on election night, when he was running for governor, actually, my parents were at his party. They took the bank that she had back to him, and he signed it across the bottom. So we go forward to his death and his funeral. My little one, who was probably, what would she have been, 6 or 7 years old at the time, she cried, I think, for 2 hours straight. What kind of politician can evoke that kind of response in a little kid? He was pretty special. My personal values. I think that my strong Christian values are probably a little at odds with today's political climate, I'm noticing. But I think when you become spiritually more mature, it almost becomes, how do I say this, a process of self-mastery. And that's what I've been coming into the past several years of my life. It's really done well for me, I think, through this entire lockdown mandate COVID issue the past year and a half, because, in the Bible it says, I can't even count how many times, do not fear. And I didn't feel fearful, and I still don't. My faith is stronger than that. And when you're not fearful and you have that value with everything, things become very clear. You're not easily manipulated. You're not easily swayed. You can see things as they really are. So I think that's one value that's carried over to me very well. The other one was the one that I just mentioned regarding Dennis Richardson being absolutely and completely authentic. When you learn that level of integrity, you aren't going to say things that you don't mean. You're not going to be someone other than who you are. So, and that's what I'm sticking to. I've heard a couple of criticisms, and the first criticism is, well, she's only been mayor for 7 months. And my response to that was, I've only been mayor for 7 months, yes, but that shows exactly how effective I can be in a short amount of time. So imagine what I could do as 4 years with the governor's seat. The second criticism is, oh, she's too young. How could she be governor at such a young age? And I'm turning 50 next year. So I think that I am at the absolute perfect age to be governor. I'm in the prime of my life. It's a little bit ironic that I fall straight in the middle of the age range among the candidates that are running at this point. So
We got a lightning round for you.
all right.
First off, ducks or beavers?
You know, I am not trying to be politically correct here, but I am absolutely neutral on that.
Oh, yeah?
I really am.
Ooh.
I could sit and watch that and enjoy both sides.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Oregon landmark?
Oregon landmark. That's hard to tell because, I mean, there's so many beautiful places in Oregon, but I am going to plug the Elkhorn Scenic Byway. Okay, that's a loop that goes from Baker City up around Anthony Lakes, and it's only open a couple months a year due to the snow, but comes back down in the historic mining town of Granite, Sumter, and then back around to Baker City. And along the way, there are so many trails of every difficulty level. There are lakes everywhere you look. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. So that is the perfect day trip. So highly recommend it.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you're the first candidate who's from Eastern Oregon.
Sure.
So every candidate I've asked, what is your favorite place in Eastern Oregon? And I think you just said it. So what is your second favorite place in Eastern Oregon?
My second favorite place might be my first favorite place, actually. It's my family ranch. Yeah.
Okay.
One of my very favorite things to do, it absolutely relaxes me, is to get on the four-wheeler and just go. It's beautiful and healing and quiet, wildflowers and an elk and a bear here and there. So it's the best place to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Last up, what is your favorite Oregon beer?
You ask these questions. I'm probably the worst person to ask that one of. I'm fascinated with how beer is made, but I don't drink. I never acquired the taste for beer. So I do like to cook with it quite a bit, though. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Okay. Then if you were going to go cook something with beer, which one would you grab off the shelf?
I have no idea. There's no favorite when you're baking. I've gotten to where I take a little bit of everything and just try one at a time. So it's a lot of fun.
Alrighty.
Beer bread. Yes. One of the thoughts I've had is that we haven't had a governor from this side of the state since the 1950s. We haven't had a Republican governor in, almost 4 decades. We've never had a female Republican governor. So this could be a groundbreaking election here. One of the things I hear that probably bothers me the most is when people say, my vote doesn't count. We're outnumbered. We can't take this back. And what I see is when someone holds a belief system, even if it's not true, it affects their actions. And I'm telling you that the idea that your vote does not count here in Eastern Oregon and anywhere across the state, it's absolutely not true. We can flip Oregon over and change its course completely if people get out and turn in their ballots. It's true. And there are enough people with the same, on both sides, Democrat and Republican, who have the exact same issues across the state that interest them all. We have the numbers out there to change Oregon. So please don't let that belief affect how you turn out with your ballots.